Isn't that lovely? Pay it forward, help the old woman with the melons, you get upgraded to business class and you get to fly home to New Zealand. Isn't that wonderful?
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Abroad Japan podcast. Probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host Chris Broad and we're joined as always by England's top Japan enthusiast in a Glaswegian hotel room, Mr. Pete Dawson himself. Pete, your setup looks rather swanky. You've got a coffee machine.
I do have a coffee machine, which is something I don't have at home, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, I'm in Glasgow, and it's very sunny, so I'm sort of dealing with direct sunlight, which is not something I had on my kit list, because that's not something you always see in Glasgow. But yeah, I'm on the 12th floor of the Maldron Hotel in Glasgow City Centre, and we're up here doing some Football Ramble live shows. It's gone really well so far. We've done Manchester, we've done Newcastle, we've got Birmingham still to go, and also back to London as well. So yeah, it's all been going very well, and as you can tell from my voice, I've been drinking a lot.
The shoe that we switched roles this week.
Yes.
You sent me an angry message. You sent me an angry message like, everybody keeps asking about abroad in Japan.
Honestly, it's all anyone will ask. How's Chris? How's Sarah, my partner? And it's just like, what about me, mate?
No.
What about me? No.
What about the car?
No, yeah. What about the car? Actually, the car has been asked about a few times, but yeah, everyone in the Stack universe, the listeners and the people who follow us on Patreon and stuff have been absolutely lovely, and I've been drinking a lot of tequilas and beers that people have been buying me. So yeah, it's all you literally can't. The problem with having people coming over with a drink for you is that as a person from the UK. You're then sort of duty bound to getting around with them. So the round is sacred. The round is something you have to adhere to. So therefore, you drink more than you were planning to drink because then you have to buy them back, which means you've doubled the amount of drinks you weren't even going to be drinking in the first place. So yeah, it's hell. It's hell on earth. I think that's how Oliver Reed went.
You've got to pay it forward. Oliver Reed, yes, he did famously pass away on the shooting of Gladiator. Somebody challenged him to a drinking competition. I think he won, and the next day he was dead. But what a way to go!
I think his final hours were detailed as that he got into an arm wrestling contest with a lot of Matlows, and then sadly passed. But
legend. He's the heart and soul of Gladiator 1. He plays a character called Proximo, and he's like the owner of the Gladiator. He buys gladiators, and his performance in that film is so good. It's such a high note to go out on. Really good performance, actually.
Well, and a lot of it's CGI'd, isn't it? So,
and they did have to CGI him, yeah. It's not great when one of your lead actors passes away mid-shoot. Imagine that on a wacky weekend. We'd have to CGI Connor in from across various videos.
I've made a Connor with a broom and some glasses. Yeah, I mean, we put out a video on WrestleMe, one of our wrestling shows that me and a guy called Mark Haynes do. We went over to WrestleMania. We probably spoke about it a bit on the show. And one of the last shows we saw was a ECW star called Sabu. It was apparently his retirement match, his final match and stuff. And he is a 60-year-old man. Was a 60-year-old man. I think you know how this story's going to go. But he went through some barbed wire, fell off the stage, cracked his head and stuff. We put out a YouTube video about it saying it's Sabu's last match because that's what it was going to be. If he lost the match, he was going to retire. If he won the match, he was going to continue. He actually won the match. We said it was Sabu's last match. And he died yesterday, sadly. So it's a real kind of it's a really sad story. He was probably not in that great nick to wrestle anyway. But he did take a rather heavy fall, let's say, in the middle of the match, which ended up being a bit of a bloody mess.
Crikey! Well, may he rest in peace. May he rest in peace. At least he won the match though, right? That's kind of cool. Again, high note.
I mean, he went out as he, spent a lot of his life just absolutely smashing himself into barbed wire. So, yeah. And that's wrestling for you. The dignity of the elder wrestler.
I mean, it's kind of what the movie The Wrestler's about. If you watch that, Mickey Rourke, he might not be the greatest human being, but that was a very good film. And it's about similar subject matter. But We're back in Japan, and we got a story from the Great Sky, who says, "Hello, Chris and Pete. I've listened to a recent episode where Chris mentioned feeling mildly spiritual after his near-death experience, which reminded me of when we were blessed in Japan. Do you remember which near-death experience I discussed? I can't remember. I mean, there's been a few.
I think it was.
The
it
truck.
has to be the truck, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you sort of go getting a bit spiritual after a near-death experience. It's got to be the truck. Has to be.
The thing is, I wasn't spiritual, though. I was arrogant. I was like, I could have taken that truck. I could take it. It wasn't spiritual, it was arrogant. And I think if I'd been hit by the truck, I don't think I would have been a game-changing ending. I think I would have just like ripped my arm off, and it would have just been...
No, but I would have released a YouTube video called Chris's Last Ride, detailing Chris's last cycle.
I look forward to that day, but until then, my partner and I, that was an ominous first paragraph for the opening of this story. My partner and I were in Kyoto in March 2020. It was surreal. The streets were without tourists. It was stunning, and unobstructed views were everywhere, all experienced alongside the constant low-level pandemic panic. This was, of course, just a few weeks before Japan shut its doors for several years. Then came the announcement on the news. All Kiwis had 48 hours to get home. I was working in travel at the time, and I spent the morning frantically calling contacts trying to secure a flight home. Many hours later, we got confirmation we did have a flight that afternoon. With time to kill, we wandered round Kobe Motomachi one last time. We met an elderly woman surrounded by a mountain of melons. Like way too many melons. Melons, very cheap today, she said. So I buy many. Now I don't know how to get them home. Is that a sentence? This cannot be real. With nothing better to do, we offered to help. For over an hour, we carried melons and listened to her stories about life, aging, and especially her love for her church. Before we left, she insisted on blessing us, saying something great was about to repay our kindness. 4 hours later, we were at Osaka Airport watching flights cancel one by one, except our flight back to New Zealand. Not only did we make it out, but at check-in, we were upgraded to business class.
Wow.
A first and probably last for us. The flight crew flying home to redundancy handed out full bottles of champagne to celebrate. So there we were, more comfortable than we'd ever been on a plane, bottles of Laurent Pierre in hand, raising a toast to the melon lady and her unexpected blessing. Have any of you had similar magical moments that made you question everything before? All the best. Thanks, Sky. Isn't that lovely? Pay it forward, help the old woman with the melons, you get upgraded to business class and you get to fly home to New Zealand. Isn't that wonderful?
I mean, these are the kind of COVID stories that we'll probably forget, in 10 years' time. But I just very much like the idea. I mean, I don't think she bought the melons because of COVID. I think she just sort of bought the melons because she saw them cheap and she loves a melon deal. So that woman's going to have very interesting smelling ablutions for the rest of the week. I imagine just constant melon she's eating. Oh, melon pie again, is it, dear? But yeah, I mean that's a lovely that's the true spirit of spirituality, isn't it? Meeting a mysterious stranger who's got loads of melons and blesses you on the way home, and clearly the blessing worked because you managed to get a flight. Your one didn't get cancelled. You got upgraded to business class, and you got a bottle of Dom P or Laurent Perrier or whatever the hell it was. So yeah, not too shoddy really. Thank you, that woman.
Yeah, that's pretty damn epic. It was a weird atmosphere in March 2020. It was almost like the last plane out of Saigon sort of vibe, getting out of Japan, of course.
I was getting out of Cuba. That was it. We were in. I'd been to Sapporo with you, and then we'd travel. I'd been home for a week, and then I went out to Cuba, and everything went to absolute shit while we were out. And yeah, we were one of the last flights from Cuba back to where we were. Wild.
We managed to get home all right. I don't remember you going to Cuba. I just remember you, when you were in Sapporo, it was an ominous time because there was reports of something going on across the sea in China. And of course, the Sapporo Snow Festival is very popular with Chinese tourists. And there was something going around. And then you found under your bed a carrier bag filled with used masks and tablets and things that had been left there and not cleaned out by the
Patient
hotel.
Zero. Patient PT0, bringing it back to the UK.
Yeah, you probably did. Which actually, and that is the best segue to this week's story because it involves something unsettling under a hotel bed.
That's true, yeah.
In a story that is quite bizarre and shocking. Pete, what went on under a hotel bed?
Um, a model. A model was heading to her hotel room in Tokyo. She was staying at the infamous Appa Hotel and Resort during her solo trip when she noticed a strange smell in her room, Chris. At first she thought it might be from the bed sheets, but then she realised the smell was coming from under the bed. When she looked underneath to investigate further, she saw two eyes staring back at her.
Oh.
There was a man hiding under her bed. She screamed and she ran out the room, leaving behind a power bank and a USB cable. The hotel staff couldn't explain how he got in, and there were no CCTV cameras to help identify him. The poor girl was so shaken that she found another hotel and spent some time going back and forth to get a refund to get her for her cancelled stay. She put a TikTok post up about it, and she's gone a little bit viral with over 4 million views. But Japan's obviously got a reputation of being incredibly safe, but yeah, I mean, certain men will never have, more of an excuse. They'll never. They'll always take the opportunity to be absolute psychopaths whenever they can. But yeah, a horrific story for a poor young woman who's probably going to have to deal with some aftershocks of the emotions of that will probably be brought up. She'll probably never go into a hotel room and not have to sort of look under the bed again.
There's so much about this I don't understand. Upper hotels, we talked about them before for all sorts of reasons, but I will say they do have generally good security. Like to get into the elevator, you need to use a key card. Not that that's like there are ways to get around it. You just get in an elevator when someone else gets in, I guess. But
yeah,
it's odd, and that they seem to take security very seriously, which is odd. That there's no CCTV, there's nothing like that. Some people I saw online speculated maybe it was somebody who worked at the hotel.
Right. Okay.
Well, like, what's the fucking end game of this? You can't just go under a bed.
I'm glad we didn't find out the end game. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, not only is he absolute lunatic, or sex criminal, let's say, and he's also absolutely honking as well. Absolutely stinking. So that's how she managed to detect it. So, it's just a really sad, awful story, really, isn't it?
I mean, the beds, some of the beds you can't even get under in Upper Hotel. That's a shit excuse, isn't it?
Maybe he left the receipt in my room, but it sort of makes, because however many stories we get every sort of week, sort of I'm a solo female traveller travelling to Japan, am I going to be okay? And we always say, by and large, yeah, you're going to be absolutely fine. But then a story like this comes up, and you're like, oh, good, right, brilliant. That's going to affect the psyche of everyone getting into a hotel in Japan.
But it did go viral. It did do the rounds. I don't know if it put anyone off Upper Hotel. But yeah, really quite a creepy sort of situation. But yeah, I genuinely, I think Japanese hotels are very secure. I find you always need a key card to get into the elevator to get to your floor. Your key card only takes you to your floor of the hotel as well. Other hotel floors can't be accessed. I find they're very secure, and so it's shocking that this happened, and also the reaction as well. Like the hotel just went, oh well, under the what are we gonna do? Like it's kind of like do a more investigation,
The fact that you would have to sort of go back and forth to get a refund is absolutely astonishing. But can't most hotel room keys be sort of flipper zero? Do you know that little sort of hacking device? They're pretty easy. I think doors are generally quite easy to get into. You just sort of beep your little hacking device and get in that way. I think that's pretty standard stuff. They're not particularly well encrypted. I think the keys.
Fucking terrifying, but yeah, it went viral and online people calling out the hotel, whatnot. But a more thorough investigation would have been good, I think. But it was almost like, oh, there's no CCTV cameras, so it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like like when that ramen chain or sushi chain got in trouble because somebody licked the soy sauce bottle and it literally just tanked their entire organisation and they had to close for ages. Like the Appa Hotel, like you'd think that this sort of thing would give them real sort of cause for concern, but you do get the sort of feeling that You get the feeling that there is a culture of like the pervert in Japan that you don't sort of see elsewhere necessarily, and it's sort of accepted that there are perverts on the trains, perverts under your bed, and sometimes that kind of that insipid sort of idea sort of bleeds through to corporate culture as well. So I go, what are you going to do, perverts? They're just being perverts, aren't they?
I didn't say the nationality of the person under the bed, though. That's one thing I don't think was reported on. So
it sounds like they even didn't even arrest the guy. Have they sort of got him yet? Like it just seems like
very slipshod. But on the upside, I will say Japanese companies generally do respond well to situations. Like remember, completely different situation. Like Sakia had the rat in the bowl situation several months ago, and they shut down the entire chain, thousands of branches around the country for a deep clean to get around that. So I generally find Japanese companies do take things very serious, and Sushiro as well, the aforementioned sushi debacle, because some dickhead licks a soy sauce bottle. The sushi chain did crack down on people like that, and sort of they actually got rid of sushi going around the conveyor belt line freely. They got rid of that and whatnot as a result. Yeah.
There's a lot of people on sort of TikTok who already do these kind of like solo female traveller security tips, and they're all like, and I look at them and I go, oh, come on. But then you sort of go, oh yeah, men. Like there's these women who are like take the coat hanger and sort of spread it across the door and my mate actually, male guy, big, can handle himself in a fight sort of guy.
Yeah.
He never travels anywhere. He did a lot of work in like Togo and Nigeria and stuff, and he never travels anywhere without a little door jam. So like,
oh wow,
so that it's not going to stop anyone coming in the door, but at least you're going to be awake when they do come in the door, I think. But
right.
if someone's already in the room, what can you realistically do? But yeah.
I mean, check under the bed shouldn't be a normal thing to have to do.
And if you are a pervert, give yourself a wash.
Well, I think I look under the bed ever since I stayed in that hotel room with Connor for that first Wacky Weekend video. We went to some really fucking abhorrent hotel room, the dirtiest, cheapest, worst hotel room that I've ever set foot in. It smelt like mould, there was blood on the wall, and we looked under the bed. It's like somebody had got a dustbin and just tipped it all upside down and just thrown it under the bed, several dustbins worth of filth.
Right.
I've never stopped thinking about that. Luckily, though, of all the hotels I've stayed in around Japan, nothing has ever come close to that. And it was just an abhorrent hotel. So I will vouch for the cleanliness of Japanese hotel rooms and the safety of Japanese hotel rooms. And I am astonished that this happened, like most people. But yes, wish they'd taken it more seriously. We're back in a moment, guys. With your stories, comments, and questions over in the fax machine.
Wow.
Now we're back with the fax machine. What have we got this week from our listeners, Mr. Dawson? Fill us in.
Hi, Chris and Pete. I'm a 20-year-old American girl who's about to go on their first trip to Japan with her family. Our trip will take us from the bustling city of Tokyo through the historical sites at Hiroshima. My father was really looking forward to the Yamato Museum in Hiroshima. However, we just got news that it will be closed down. He is severely disappointed as this is something he's wanted to see for years. I've been trying to find anything we could do that is centered around the Yamato battleship, but can't find anything. Do you know of any good alternatives to the museum that could satisfy my father's thirst to see World War II battleships? Thank you so much for your time. Eleanor Donaldson from America. An American Donaldson, Chris. That's kind of exciting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And maybe you're all related. Unfortunately, the Yamato Museum is closed for renovation for a year until next year, which is a shame. I'd love to go and poke around. Like, the Yamato battleship was like a joke in terms of the size of it, I think. It was like 200 meters long. It was the largest warship in the world when it was built and the most heavily armed. And I think it took like an entire, a whole task force, to bring the damn boat to hill and take it down. Like, they had to bomb the hell out of it. So pretty cool ship. But battleships in Japan, I can't think of anywhere really. There's the Yasukuni Shrine, which is obviously infamous for all sorts of reasons. And they've got a very interesting museum there where it's sort of the World War II from a Japanese perspective. It gets a lot of heat for being quite subjective and sort of seeing World War II from a very special perspective. But there was still some interesting relics and kind of things to look at. I remember there was a submarine in there. It was a really cool submarine and a few things like that. So, that was quite an interesting place to check out. See the Second World War from a purely Japanese perspective. Check it out. Mano from Luxembourg says, hello, Chris and Pete. In October this year, I plan to solo visit Japan for 3 weeks. I find myself having a hard time trying to research everything. I get overwhelmed trying to choose what to do, where to go, and plan a fixed route. What do you guys think my survivability is if I just show up with no reservations at all, and I'm far more spontaneous with things? Is it very difficult to find accommodation in the spur of the moment? Do I have to make reservations several months in advance? All the best, Mano. I think my general rule of thumb is I like to be spontaneous, but I always make an effort to get the hotel rooms early. If you're going on, when did you say he was going? Like October, it's a good time to go. It's not like crazy like April, where every hotel is full. So yeah, I'd say just be prepared. Book the hotels best in advance. Plan your itinerary. Watch the 14 days in Japan itinerary video on Abroad in Japan and the 21 days in Japan video that Pete Dawson was supposed to be in, but we cut him out from. And you'll have a great time. Poor old Pete. We'll put the footage to good use, Pete. Don't worry. You'll get your Nico adventures.
Nico time. It's Nico time.
And finally, hello, Starlet, Chris, and Sentry. Pete, a reference to our favourite cars. What's the car culture in Japan really like? Is it true that the moment dusk falls, tyres start squealing from all around town? All the best, Tom from Slovakia. I think there's certain areas. I remember I was in Enoshima a few months ago and I heard like motorbikes and cars racing down the roads around that area, which is famous for it. Likewise, if you go to Gunma in the mountains, there's a lot of drifting, a lot of drift racing and things. You can hear like tyres burning in the distance. Folks skid around corners. But also, Pete, how's your Toyota Century handling these days? Somebody asked me the other day. Is it still alive?
I left it in the street while I'm on tour for the Football Ramble, and we had like some sort of street party, I think, in my road. And so one of the neighbours moved the car down the road, and they added, as you can see on the screen now, a beautiful Union Jack flag on the end of the little flagpole that I've got at the front of it. So it's looking pretty good with a Union Jack. It looks like an ambassador's sort of dropped in for a little while.
I really want to get in that car and do like a road trip with you for like a podcast episode.
It's very comfortable for a road trip. That's all I'm saying. We can visit all of the Japanese historical sites. Or I am absolutely jonesing to get it into Europe and just drive around with my family and just sort of get to south of France or something.
I think you should drive it from your home in Essex all the way to Japan, do a worldwide road trip.
To where it was in Beppo.
I would watch that, like Ewan McGregor's Long Way Round series, which is really good actually.
Oh, that's back, isn't it? Old Ewan McGregor's friend. He's managed to weasel his way back onto the television.
It's a really good show though. I remember the best bit was they drove through Siberia and they went down the Road of Bones to Magadan, which is the city on the east coast of Russia. And they drove down this road that like people had died over many years to build, and they said that the bones of the deceased went into the road, hence the name Road of Bones. And it was the most spectacular journey. And I think they relied quite a lot on 4x4 vehicles dragging their motorbikes down the road for half of it. But I'd like to see you do that in the Century. I think that'd be quality entertainment.
Toyota, mate, he'll be fine.
It probably would. It probably would be fine, to be honest. What can't Toyota cars do? Keep the stories, questions, comments coming into the Abroad Japan podcast at gmail.com or right away in the comments below. But for now, guys, have yourself a great few days. We'll see you right back here to do it over again on the Abroad Japan podcast. Bye for now.